Cairo. Before their village became a killing field, it was a sanctuary. Many of the 305 people slaughtered at a mosque in the village of Rada on Friday had moved there to escape clashes between the Islamic State and Egyptian security forces elsewhere in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, witnesses said. The village had become sort of a motherland to its mostly Sufi Muslim residents, who saw safety in numbers. But in recent months, the militants had chased down the displaced to Rada. They repeatedly ordered the Sufis to give up their rituals or face death. The community reported the threats to the military, villagers said, but no added protection arrived. So the residents erected 4-foot-high sand barriers around the mosque and nearby roads in a futile effort to protect themselves. After the threats, we were expecting an attack, but not something so savage, said Yusuf Mustafa, 37, a government employee who lost 3 brothers in the assault. The massacre in Rada highlights the vulnerability of communities trapped in a conflict between Egyptian security forces and one of the Islamic State's most virulent affiliates. The attack, the deadliest in Egypt's modern history, is the latest sign of the government's inability to contain a spreading insurgency that is becoming more brazen and ambitious. No group has asserted responsibility for Friday's bloodshed. But the Islamic State affiliate known as Wilayah Sinai is active in the area, and witnesses said some of the attackers carried a black Islamic State flag. Wilayah Sinai has long relied on the sympathies of disaffected Sinai tribes ignored by the government and drawn its leaders and fighters from local communities. But particularly striking in Friday's attack was that most of the victims belonged to a clan of one of the most powerful tribes in the Sinai. That suggests an important shift for the group. Even though most of the leadership still hails from the Sinai, its membership now includes many more outsiders with no ties to the region, analysts and residents said. Membership has been bolstered by returnees who fought with the Islamic State, also known as ISIS, in Syria and Iraq, according to Zach Gold, a non-resident fellow at the Washington-based Atlantic Council. These outside fighters, even if Egyptians, they're foreign to North Sinai, don't care about tribal interests and red lines, he said. Friday's carnage was part of a broader shift toward sectarianism for the ISIS branch, both in the Sinai and on the Egyptian mainland. While sectarian attacks have been a hallmark of ISIS tactics in Syria and Iraq, they have gained prominence in Egypt only within the past year. In the past, ISIS attacked mostly soldiers and police. But more recently, the militants have targeted the country's Coptic Christian minority with devastating bombings of churches in Cairo, Alexandria, and other cities, as well as assassinations, forcing thousands of Christians to flee the Sinai. The Rada mosque attack and other high-casualty incidents afford the Islamic State the media attention that it seeks, delegitimize the efforts of the Egyptian government, and further the group's global sectarian ambitions, said Jacob Green, a research associate at the Tahrir Institute for Middle East Policy. Analysis: Trump says attack in Egypt proves U.S.